Yeah.
Got it right. I know. I'm going to call you Karina though. Okay, guys. So this is Karine, and she served time in
Bronzefield.
Is it just Bronzefield you served time in?
Yeah, I went twice. One was really short, and I went in for 6 weeks, got out for 9 days, and then I was back for 5 months.
Right. Okay. So do you want to just rewind a little bit just before that then? So what was sort of life like before that? What like got you? What happened?
Okay, so it'll take ages to say it, so I'm just going to brief over it. A lot of childhood trauma, as a teenager, very bad sexual abuse, then in and out of different abusive relationships because I was. Sorry, I thought dogs were not the camera then. Because I was very vulnerable and I was undiagnosed. So I'd already been diagnosed with OCD as a child, which is obsessive compulsive disorder. And it was so severe that I couldn't even leave my bedroom sometimes. It got that bad. And then as I got older, I ended up having bipolar disorder, which wasn't diagnosed until a lot later on, until I was in my 20s. Anyway, so I'd been through all this abuse and I'd ended up with different abusive partners, and at this point I had 4 children, and one of my children had ADHD, which we didn't know, and he would have a like massive outbursts of anger and he would smash things up, the TVs, the phones. He would hit the others. He was only like young, he wasn't like a teenager or anything, and like I'd literally have to hold on to him to try and stop him from beating his brothers and sisters up. And I was unwell as it was and struggling with 4 children under the age of 10, and like my mental health just started to get worse and worse and worse. And then somebody who I used to live with in the youth hostel when I was 16, because I ended up homeless when I was a kid and everything, it was a nightmare, he got back in touch with me and he came in like the knight in shining armor. I can't believe you're single, I care about you, I'll help you, I'll help you do the shopping, like really like pretending that he was there for me. And because I was so vulnerable, I couldn't see like the bigger picture of what he was up to. He in the end, he just started like he'd take any of the money, he would mentally abuse me, like put me down, because they dip their tone. They start a little bit like they'll just make horrible comment, and if they get away with it, then that next time they'll do something worse and until in the end, and you don't even know it's happening in the end. And the abuse got so severe that it led to me having a complete nervous breakdown. And I'm big now, but at the time I went from a size 14 to a size 6 in about 2 months. And I'm not exaggerating when I say this. I didn't eat for over 2 months, not one thing. All I lived off was Coca-Cola. I physically couldn't eat. I had to cut all my hair off because it was falling out in clumps. I got it's like a temporary alopecia from when you're being abused, your body's in fight or flight mode all the time. So my body was releasing adrenaline and cortisol, and cortisol in high doses kills off your hair follicles, and that's what led to my hair falling out. It's growing back now, and I'm growing it. I cut it off and had to start afresh. So at this point, the school had rang the social services. I was in denial, and I wouldn't admit to anyone what he was doing to me. Every time I did go to try and tell someone, he'd beg me not to and say it was because he was abused as a kid and he couldn't help it and he loved me and he was sorry. Victim mode. all the manipulation that they do. And unfortunately, I've become so unwell. The doctors said that my brain has started to shut down from trauma, and my kids ended up to go and live with their dad, except for one of them whose dad was abusive himself and he went into foster care. But I have got 2 of my children back. My youngest, who's used to living with his dad, I'm not going to try and take him away from his dad. I see him regularly, and the one in foster care, they're talking about him coming home at some point. So awesome. I have completely turned it around. Now I'm away from him. Anyway, so I ramble.
Before you jump on there, sorry, are you able to see the comments as well that have come up?
I can. Yeah, I can.
Perfect. Okay, so if at any point you want to just answer anything, I know someone just asked about the live. We're just.
Oh,
Corrine.
Yeah, Corrine. Yeah.
Corrine. I'm going to do it. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm going to get her name wrong all
It's
evening.
fine.
I
Corrine.
apologise now. So she's served time in Bronzefield. So we're just doing a little rundown on what she's been through and what her time was like in prison. So feel free to ask any questions. But obviously, if we skip them, we can flick back down through. If you just put your finger down the bottom of it, it will show you the messages, so we can come back to it. If we do ignore it, she's just deep in, I'm not gonna interrupt her while she's deep in ramble then. And what have I done now?
In ramble
I
mode,
can't get it off my screen.
ADHD mode.
Yeah. So but we will get back to questions and stuff like that. So yeah, if you wanted to carry on, sorry, I apologise for jumping in.
Sorry, 1 second. Wednesday, go and sit down. Oh my
Wednesday.
God, my dog. Go and sit down.
No, we wasn't, Lisa. We've not. Basically, so she started up her own YouTube channel, guys. So
1 second. I'm so sorry.
no, yeah, you do your thing. We can fire questions. So she started up her own YouTube channel. We communicated through. I can't even remember what she messaged me on, but basically, yeah. She's going to comment on this video underneath. I tried to tag her link for her channel. So at the end of this, guys, jump over and give her a sub, please, and support. We're going to be doing probably some more work together as well. We're definitely going to be doing some more lives. Me and a few others, we got end goals from all of this. We want to do a lot more work, but at the minute it's just going to be sort of lives and prison talk, obviously. So yeah.
We weren't at Bronzefield at the same time. No, Fran, you was already out when I went in, I think, because mine was 2022, so you had already been out. Sorry about the noise. I had to go and give my dog a pig's trot to keep her occupied because she's just good. She started banging the camera, and the next thing you know, her head's going to be here.
No, you're fine. Yeah, so I can't remember where we was at. So obviously,
just what led up to me having a breakdown and my kids going. So then, obviously, my kids had gone. He then, because there was no witnesses, he then started to get physical, and because of things that have happened, I can't say too much, but things that happened when I was a kid, I'm not very easily frightened of people physically. So he'd get it whack. I'd whack him back. Like I'm not scared. And what he'd do is he'd ring the police on me, but I never rang the police on him because in previous times in my life, when I'd rang the police, reached out for help, I'd been laughed at, I've been not believed, or they just never did anything. And then this person that was abusing me would cry, and because I do have, even though I've done things wrong, I do have a lot of empathy, so I'd always feel bad. Yeah. And it wasn't till the trauma bond was broken and I didn't love him anymore, that's when he started to get whacked. I'd whack him back because I didn't have that love for him anymore, which was stopping me. So I hit the drink because when my kids went, I had literally lost my whole world and I didn't care if I was here or not. I'm not going to say certain words because it'll get flagged, but I'd attempted to unalive myself numerous times. My arms and legs are scarred where I've sliced them to shreds. And obviously I regret it now, but it's happened. So basically there was this one particular night, and I'm going to say alleged, because certain things are still hanging over my head. Basically, he was being abusive and he was going on and on and on and on and on and on. Like, I'm going to make sure you never get your kids back. You're a terrible mom. You don't deserve them. And then saying all these horrible things. I remember I got to the point where I was just I would just rock like this for hours because I just couldn't cope. I literally couldn't cope. And he'd grabbed me by the throat and pinned me into the sofa. And I've managed to kick him in the you-know-whats, and he temporarily got off me. And as I've got up, I've run across the room and I've just gone on my hands and knees like in absolute despair of it all. And there was a little plastic flower pot. It wasn't glass, it was plastic. And so he's walked into the kitchen at this point. And so from my living room, there's a kitchen like coming off of it, and there's a doorway, and he's carried on shouting and shouting and shouting, and I've just picked this pot up, and I wasn't even facing the direction. I've literally gone like that and lobbed it, and he's walked into the doorway, and it's caught him in the head. And this is all alleged. He's then obviously like blood everywhere and that, but I didn't feel bad because I didn't mean to do it. I genuinely didn't, but I didn't feel bad. And he was like, look what you've done to me. And I just sat there like, it was like I was dissociated. I just wasn't there. I was just like, and my neighbours had heard the commotion, but what they had heard is him attacking me, and they'd called the police. So just after the pot had hit him, they was already literally almost outside anyway. So I got the blame for the whole fight. They didn't believe me.
Of course you would, yeah. That's
and,
what they do.
And he's a grass as well. He went out and he's told, and not just a grass, he lies about all of it. He said, I've done it on purpose. So I got arrested. So I've quickly shut the door. He's ran out. I've shut the door, and I put my feet against the front door, and I'm like, my stairs are just like in front of my front door. So I'm like against the stairs, and I'm holding the door closed, and the police are trying to put my door through. And I've got a razor, and I'm not going to say something, but I've just been doing this. Not to unalive, but the only way I could deal with the pain was to hurt myself. And I can't explain why, and I haven't done it for a very long time. But when all this was going on, it was the only thing that made me feel better was to hurt myself. And I'd also break my own nose. Like you can't see at the moment because I've had loads of filler put in my nose to straighten it up, because it, like, I would get like a vase, for example, and I would just smash it in my face and break my own nose. Like, I had to have brain scans. I've had like hematomas from here all the way around to here.
Wow.
Like, I wasn't right. I was not in my right mind at all. It's a bit embarrassing, but it is what it is. Anyway, so I got arrested for GBH with intent. I had, where I'd been drinking, every time the police come up, I would lash out at them. So I'd fight with the police. Obviously, didn't go in my favour either, but I wasn't thinking sane, like a sane person.
Yeah.
He had his last two previous girlfriends have injunctions on him. Like, why didn't they? I had no previous except for a caution when I was 18. Like, why did they not look into this? Why was all the blame being put on me? And then, so they put a temporary caution, like not caution, sorry, a temporary, it's like CPS.
Restraining order.
It isn't, yeah, but it wasn't like a proper one. It was like a temporary one. I wasn't allowed to go in contact with him. So I didn't. Well, what happened was, sorry, go on.
No, so I was just saying thank you to someone. I just like acknowledging.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
I'm rambling.
No, you're good. I'm listening. I'm not. Don't get distracted by me because I'm used to it. So I would just be like, I'm acknowledging people.
Yeah, I'm not ignoring people, by the way. I'm just in.
No, when you're in that zone,
I'm reliving it. If you know what I mean.
Flowing. Yeah. No, you go on.
So what happened? So I had at this time, me and my mum wasn't talking because I said some horrible things when I was drunk, and she had really tried to help me, and I shouldn't have said the things I did, but I threw blame at her for things.
We're all guilty of saying some evil things when drunk.
Yeah, and I blamed her for things from the past, and and it hurt her feelings, and she had to take a step back at this point. She there was nothing she could do. I was on a downward spiral, and she tried to help, and there was no getting through to me. I was not right in the head, and I was on my way to prison before it had even begun, sort of thing. Like, there was only a few ways out of this situation, not, being in a body bag, prison, or I don't know, or sorting myself out, which is luckily what happened in the end. So so I had nothing. So I wasn't talking to my mum. Now, because my ex-partner smashed my whole house up, and where I was so mentally unwell after the kids went, the house turned absolutely disgusting. Like, it was vile, like pure just mess, dirt, everything was broken. So I actually, I missed a massive bit out. So before all of the incident happened where I got arrested for GBH with intent, I had gone into rehab. Now, the reason I went into rehab is because I used to be addicted to painkillers. Anyway, so I went in there, but the real reason they wanted me in there is because they knew he was abusing me, but I wouldn't admit it, and they wanted me to get away from him. And that's when I was in rehab, that's when I didn't love him anymore. But whilst I was in rehab, I stupidly climbed out the window and met a man from the men's rehab house.
Like you do.
Went into an abandoned building and got seriously, like really badly SA'd to the point where internal damages were caused, like that went on for months after. It was horrendous. So then, so whilst I was in rehab, the council had come, and I paid them back. I'm still paying it back now. I paid them to come and gut the whole house. But where I climbed out the window, I didn't tell the staff what had happened. In fact, I actually, strangely, I was in denial in my own head, and I made myself, and I can't explain it, it's weird. I made myself believe that is what I wanted. I don't know if that's just my way of dealing with it at the time. It wasn't till later on that it hit me what had happened. Excuse me, what had happened. But anyway, so this is so complicated. So they kicked me out of rehab a week early, so the house wasn't completely sorted. So when I did come back, I had nothing. I had no furniture. It was just floorboards, completely empty house. Nothing, no cutlery, no toaster, no kettle, nothing in the house. So so by this time when the incident happened, I got some people had given me some bits and pieces. So I had like a sofa that someone had given me, and I didn't have a TV or anything, but I had like a couple of little ornaments and just things like that. Oh, my mum's calling me. She's gonna have to wait. So yeah, I had some things in the house, and sorry, she's just completely distracted my
It's all right. Just
my
take your time
mind.
anyway. I appreciate you sharing the story, because I know it must be quite tough to talk about such in-depth stuff.
Oh, that was it. Oh, why is she ringing me, man? She never rings me until I'm doing something like this. Oh, she's really distracted me. Right. So I just
So you've got like bits for the place and stuff like that.
yeah, I got bits for place. Oh, that was it. So when they put this temporary injunction on me, I had like a couple of things. I had like an airbed that would go flat in the middle of the night. So and I was on like floorboards. It was awful. I had nothing. Where the police had put my door in, the whole letterbox had come off. There was like no letterbox. There's a big hole. I had no gas. My electric was running out, and I was eating at this point, but I hadn't eaten in like a week, so I had no money. Like all my money had stopped. I had nothing, and I was obviously too mentally unwell to work, and I was waiting for my claim to come through. So I had absolutely nothing, and it's Christmas Day. So Christmas Day, nothing, no phone, no TV, no heating, no food, and I was feeling like I wanted to not be here, and I was very close to actually doing something about that feeling, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then I get a knock on the door, and I thought, oh my god, maybe my mum's come, or like maybe it's my friend or something. And I went to the door, and it was him, and there was a taxi, and he goes, you can't. He's like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for everything that's happened. I know it wasn't your fault. I know I was being horrible. Look, I've got a taxi here. I've got food. Look, you're freezing. I've got heating. Come on, come with me. It doesn't matter. No one's going to know. No one's going to know you came for me. And I went, and everything was fine at first. He got me some little presents, just little cheap things, which I didn't care. I was grateful for.
Yeah.
And then he waited for a few hours, gave me this false sense of like safety, and then he's attacked me, like really attacked me, and it was so bad that I actually bit him to get him off of me. And I've ran out the house, like obviously shouting and crying, and his neighbour's coming down the stairs. Now he's got his neighbour to lie to the police, so he rang the police, and I knew he'd ring the police, and I already had been in trouble for the things before.
Yeah.
So I ran and I went on the run because I knew that they were going to arrest me and I was going to go to prison. So I didn't go home. I went on the run. And he got his neighbour when it did catch up with me. His neighbour and him had made up a load of lies about me, and they put it all on me. I said that I was the one that, because they didn't see any marks on me because I'd run off. They
Yeah.
only had his, so they didn't, and the police don't like me. Like, so yeah, I got blamed for that. So
You're not alone.
Huh?
I said, you're not alone on that one, don't worry.
Oh, they hate me. Oh, I don't care, I hate them. It's mutual. So yeah, I was like hiding out at different places and stuff, and I was crazy. You don't even know the stuff that happened. I escaped from them 3 times. I escaped from the police 3 times on 3 different occasions. I outsmarted them 3 times, right? So one, I knew that I couldn't come back here because I knew that there was a warrant out, because I knew he would have rang the police. So I was running out of stuff and I was like, I've got to go back. So I came back and they must have been in an unmarked car because I didn't see anybody outside. So I'm like, there's a window here, right? So I'm in the living room. No, I wasn't. I was in the kitchen. Now, in the kitchen, there's this like window in between the front room and the kitchen. It's like an old serving hatch. So through the kitchen, through that serving hatch window, I could see blue lights, torches through my front room window. And I thought, oh, no, not yet. I'm not ready to go yet. So I was like, shit, like, what am I going to do? So I've dropped to the floor, and then I've seen torches coming through my kitchen window. And I'm like, oh, none of my lights were on because I had no electric in the house. So I've like belly crawled across the kitchen floor, and there was luckily my back door window was boarded up where I punched like through it and like had all glass sticking out my hands. That was a whole other incident. So then I've got under the stairs in my kitchen, there's a cupboard, and my fridge freezer's in there. And so really quickly, I've decided the best thing I can do is squeeze behind this fridge freezer and pull it as far back as I could. And that's what I've done. And they've got in the house. My neighbour gave them a key. Oh, nice. She hasn't got the key anymore. I'll tell you that much. And they've come in, and I can hear them opening cupboards going, Corinne, are you in here? Like, I'm going to go, yeah. Like, I'm on the run. I'm going to just come out and go, yeah. Right. So I could hear one of them going, are you sure you saw her come in? And he goes, I swear I bloody saw her. She came in. They couldn't find me and they left.
Sweet.
So I thought, I can't leave, because they might be waiting outside. So I had to just creep up the stairs and just lay on this airbed until the sun come up. And then I was like, looked out the window, got all my stuff and did one. And then it's another time. So I'm walking down the road and I'm wanted, and I've seen this police like van, and out the corner of my eye, I thought, oh God. And it slowed down. And I thought, oh, they've got me. There's no way I'm getting away with it a second time. Surely not. And they wound the window down. They went, excuse me, what's your name? I said, oh, Rachel. And they go, oh, I'm really sorry. You look like someone we're looking for.
Oh, my God. Sometimes they're so dumb. Sometimes you can't underestimate the police, because trust me, they always catch you in the end. But sometimes they are dumber than dumb. It is unbelievable.
It's a good job I wasn't a murderer, let's put it that way. They've been in all the shops, in my local shops, with mug shots of me, because I went to get a pint of milk, and because the woman knew me, she was out, because it's a petrol station, so she wasn't in the shop, she was outside further away having a fag. She went, don't go in there, they're looking, they've got your mug shot, and they'll ring the police. And I was like, oh, for goodness sake, I only wanted some milk. And then the final time that I got away from them, I'd come back to mine. This time, my at the time best friend, and we were nuts together. We were just like the worst people to be together. We were always trying to outdo each other's disgusting behaviour. Like, if she did something bad, I'd have to top it. Like, or if I did something, it was one of them friendships. Like, who could be the most outrageous? So I was in the house, and we're in the middle because we'd come back really quick, and someone must have called it must have been my neighbours, ringing them like, oh yeah, she's back, because there's no way they'd been waiting out there both them times.
Yeah.
It's too much coincidence. So we're packing bags full of little bits that I had, like clothes and stuff, and police have knocked on the door, and they've like, we've already seen you're in there, so don't pretend you're not. And I had no intention of doing this, and I've got to word it. I said, because normally they'd send about 6 police officers, sometimes more, to deal with me, because when I kick off, I would get so violent with police, like I'm out of control. And I said to them, like, I was like, why have they only sent 2 of you? Like, I'm saying this through the little hole where the letterbox used to be. I was like, why have they only sent 2 of you then? And they went, oh, I'm sure we can manage. I said, yeah. I said, get hold of the station then, and they'll tell you what I'm like. I said, and if you come in here, I'm gonna cut your effing. So you better get some backup, because I knew that was going to make them go and give me enough time to get out.
Yeah.
So me and my friends like, right. So we've grabbed these bags, chucked the rest of the bits in. We've gone out my back door. We've locked the back door behind us. I don't know why. They're going to put the door in anyway.
Yeah, right.
We ran up my back garden. I've got a 6-foot flint wall, and we're like clambering up this wall. She's passing me the bag. She's climbing up, and then we ran off. And then we've got downs. Like there's quite near where I live. There's like the downs. So we ran up onto the downs, and we could hear as we were running all these sirens. It was just mental. Like I can't believe all this stuff happened. But
yeah,
how did I get? How did they manage to let me get away that many times?
Yeah. No. When they used, because obviously I sold drugs from a young age, and the copper he pulled me over one day, and he's always raiding me, always doing stuff, and he was like, Fran, he goes, you are one of the most politest drug dealers I've ever met. He goes, we just can't find your fucking drugs. I was like, yeah, you're not going to either, mate. Do you know what I mean? And that was me at like 22 years old. I got caught at 37. Like, yeah.
Is there anything you wanted to ask? Because I'm like rambling on. Oh, and for everyone that is watching, I know I look stupid. I had my lips on yesterday. They're really swollen still. So they probably think I've overdone it with the filler, but they're literally still swollen. So hopefully they'll go down.
What I'll quickly say is, before we jump into you actually then going to prison, I just want to say thank you, because so far on my channel, like, you've had the kind of like normal situation, like for my, not normal, you know what I mean, but like as in me, I had a good life, as in the aspect, you know, touch wood, I didn't have the things that, you know, that you had, and I'm really sorry that you did have them things happen to you. The other girls I've had on my channel, and you know, I can say I've suffered from mental health, but not to the extent that you're talking about. You know, so it's really good to have a different perspective, because something that I literally want to work towards is women getting stupid sentences. Like, it's something I've seen women come in, and it's just for the smallest amount of time, or it's to do with their partner, and it's not the right way. They lose their homes, they lose their kids, and all that sort of stuff. To actually speak to someone firsthand on my channel, like, I'm really grateful, and I admire your courage for being open and honest and talking about stuff. Like,
thank you.
And people need to hear it. People need to hear it.
No, I'm grateful for you letting me. I'm just going to shut the kitchen door, because the dog is making a right noise eating that thing. Minute, dog.
Pepsi Max at it, guys. I did just dribble down my face.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Should be more organised. I should have put her out there earlier, but I didn't. I feel mean shutting her in the kitchen, but she's all right. She's got her treat. I've actually got a job. I can't say too much about it because they're a bit funny about like that, but I'm going to do with that job. I'm going on some courses to do with mental health and domestic violence, because I really want to help people who have been through that.
Too many women.
Sorry, go on.
Too many women, they don't speak open about it, you know, like, or too many women are scared, and there needs to be that more support. You know, the more people that talk about it, whether it's men or women, you know, people don't speak up enough. So you sharing your story now, there could be somebody going through something similar, and literally they'll know where to find you. They can subscribe to you, and then they can reach out to you, you know, like. So
I'm willing to talk to anyone who needs to talk.
And that's what I always said, you know, like, if I could help one person out of even 500, even if it's facing their fear for prison, amazing, man. Like, I feel blessed that I've been able to do one, you know. So it's really good that you're very open and honest about it all.
There was quite a few women who were in there there was two of my cellmates. I didn't have two at the time, but two different of my cellmates that I had at different times. Both of them were in there because they were being abused, and they had defended themselves with a knife. They hadn't done too much damage, but they were still. One of them was on remand a year later. Like, and she was crazy. She came in with a broken nose and a broken nose and two big black eyes. And why are they not realizing that something else is going on here? Like, and it's not just women. There are women that do it to men as well, but the majority of it is male men doing it to females.
Thank you, guys. Yes, trans. We're going to get onto that. We'll get to trans in a minute, because we'll go in when we get down the story. So there is, and there's videos on my channels. You can check down the videos on there. You'll hear stories.
Is this
about
that. TJ?
Yeah, there's also a lot of other ones that was in Send. You've got no idea, but we can touch base on that in a second.
Yeah,
I don't want to skip
I've
too
got a few
far
stories
away
as well.
From where we was going. I'm sorry, I saw something, but I can't remember what I was going to say. But yeah, so let's go on to the bout. So all of this happened. Then obviously the police caught up with you. You was arrested. Was you remanded straight away?
So I went on the run to Brighton for a bit. I'm in Eastbourne. I come back to Eastbourne. I went out drinking. My ex was ringing me saying he was going to accuse me of this, that, and the other, so that when they did catch me, I was going to get more charges. So I was shutting down the phone to him, and the landlord of the pub I was in said, "Right, you've got to go. You're too drunk." And he's put his hand on my shoulder, and I shouldn't have done it. I was in the wrong here. I was in the wrong for this, but because of the abuse and that, when he's put his hand on me, and he was a lot bigger than me, without thinking, I've just turned around and smacked him right in the mouth, and then I've grabbed the pub table, and I've thrown the table across the pub. Obviously, he's bigger than me, so he's managed to get me and throw me outside. And I wanted to fight. I was like, "Come out," and he wouldn't come out. And I didn't hit his wife. I just tried to move her out the way. Right, and that I got done for battering her, even though I didn't do anything to her. If I wanted to hurt her, I would have hurt her like she would have. I would have hurt her. I wanted him to come and fight me because he had put his hands on me, so he wouldn't come out of the pub. So I've seen all this on the CCTV. They showed me in the body cam. I've disappeared, come back with a brick. Right, I'm trying to put this pub window in, and it's like, I don't know what it was made of. It was like wobbly. It was like it was impossible to break it. And as I'm doing this, the police have pulled up. They've sent, and I said to this police officer, this woman before, and I wasn't doing it to be cocky. I said, if I'm in a drunken rage, don't come up to me on your own. And she went, "Why? You're only small." And I thought, oh. So it was that woman turned up. So for some reason, they sent the male police officers. They were only about 5 foot away, literally. They were talking to the landlord, and the woman was talking to me. And I was so angry and in a rage at this point. When she said I was being arrested, I went, and this is exactly what I did in the camera. I went, "Yeah, that's what the body cam I saw." I went, "Yeah." And I grabbed a stab vest and I ran her backwards. And she didn't deserve it. She didn't. And she smacked her head off the car. And then I put her hair in my hands, and I kneed her in the face 3 times and knocked her unconscious. But the police were literally 5 foot away. How, like, it just happened so quick. And as they ran and threw me on the floor, one of them sprayed me. My knee's dislocated. It's popped round to the side. It's gone back in. But I was like, right, okay, I'm not fighting. It hurt like mad. Like, I was like, okay, all right, I give in. I still managed to slip the cuffs off though. Like, I was just insane. I don't know, I had all bruises, but I pulled them off. Anyway, so they took me in on the Friday, and on the Monday I went to court, and I got 6 weeks for breaking the injunction. Obviously, the judge thought it was all me because of what I'd done to the police officer. That it looks like I'm guilty. I can understand that. So I got 6 weeks because of my ex, and then I was on remand for the assault on the police. Yeah. So that was the first time I went in.
So you went in I got a bit distracted. So you went in, you got 6 weeks at this point, but you were still on remand. So yeah. How long did you serve?
It was literally so I got 6 weeks, but I did 3, and then I was 3 weeks. The other 3 weeks were on remand.
Yeah. The
judge took pity on me because she'd heard my whole story, and it's even more complicated than I've explained on here.
Yeah.
And then she gave me, it was Friday the 13th as well, and everyone was going, "Oh mate, you're screwed.
Lucky day. It's the best day ever."
Yeah, everyone was going, "You're screwed. You're screwed." They're like, "Put your rosemary on, you're screwed." So and she let me go, and I promised her, and I meant it when I said it. I said I'm not going to drink anymore. And I got out and I drank, and then 9 days later, I beat another landlord up and a couple of police officers, and ended up back in for 5 months. I got 14 months, but I think I did about 5, and then I had 2 tags when I come out. Had an alcohol tag and a
Oh wow.
is it GBS tag? Like one that makes you have to come in on time.
Yeah.
So I was double tagged. And I nearly got recalled because some girl like started on me, and I didn't want to fight. I've been out of prison for 2 days. She was getting in my face. I was like, come on. And normally I would have lost my temper straight away. I was like, come on. I was like, I don't want any trouble. Leave me alone. She come up to me again. I said to my mate, we got to go because I'm going to get in trouble. But this girl's like standing in front of me, not letting me leave. And also I've just like went for her. She's held me up my nose, broke my nose, but I didn't care. I did nothing stops me. So I just smacking her head off the floor. It got really bad. Like, but she's like a bully. She bullies everyone in Eastbourne. She was going, I'm the king of Eastbourne. I was like, what? You're the king? I was like, you're a washed up drunk pushing 40, mate. You're the king of nothing. I was drunk as well, so I'm allowed to say it. But like, you're not the king of anything. Yeah, she's a bully, and she thought that I was an easy target, and I fought back. We both got hurt. I didn't like win. We both hurt each other. Do you know what I mean? It was kind of neutral, but I wasn't going to back down from it. But yeah, so that was, and luckily she's not like a grass and I'm not grass. So we just both like, someone shouted the police with them. We both just like, because I wasn't giving in. I wasn't letting her go. And she was actually going, come on, let's just leave it now. Let's just leave it now. But when I'm in that headspace, I don't know, it's because I've got mental illnesses. I'm not going to stop unless someone knocks me unconscious. That's
you black out, don't you? Anyway, when your adrenaline's going, you black out, and you just kind of like. I mean, for me, it's I'd rather not fight. But if I do, I don't. If I get to the point where I'm angry, then I just black out, and that's a dangerous place to be in as well. Really dangerous, especially under the influence of alcohol. Like you are.
Oh,
lucky.
that time I was sober, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
When I'm drunk, it's even worse.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm dangerous. When I'm drunk and angry, I could actually end up ending someone by accident. Like in a rage. I've been sober. I'm sober for over a year and I haven't touched a drop, and I will not touch a drop because I'm scared that I could harm someone.
Hey,
I could hurt someone, like, or I could end up dead. But like, I imagine I couldn't live with myself even if I didn't like the person I got in a fight. If I'd actually done something like that was irreparable, I couldn't live with that. So I was like, I've got to start.
Yeah.
And then since then, my life's got better and better and better. So
it's good, and it will just keep progressing and progressing and progressing. And yeah, alcohol, violence. Sorry, someone said something about violence. And sometimes, if that's all you know, that's all you know, and that's how you deal with things. People do it because they're brought up with violence. Some people do it because of trauma. So you've gone to prison. I mean, obviously, you knew what to expect. So we're kind of through that phase. Where did you live in Bronzefield? What house?
Well, the first time I went in.
Well, both times, just both times.
Okay, so the first time I got put straight onto A wing on the 2s. So you got block 1,
induction.
You know what I mean? Block 1, block 2,
that's
block 3, and then
on,
5 wasn't being used. Like the Rottles wasn't being used when I was there. And then you got the 4s, which is like the privileged thing.
We'll ask that one in a minute, Lisa. Ask again in a minute. I want to get a little bit into it. I think she'll talk about that anyway, about if you had any fights. So, so did you always live on the 2s? Because when I first went in, I was on 2B, then I was on 4s, then I got kicked off, then I was on the 3s, then I was back on the 4s. So, I got around a bit on there.
I was only ever on, the second time I went in, I had cocaine in my system, so they put me on the 1. The ones.
Do you know
I called it Bronzemore.
No, do you know what we used to say? Like, guys, so house block 1, literally is, if you could. So I've taken codeine because I bloody. I ended up in hospital a couple of weeks ago. So I let's call an ambulance for me. So I got infection trapped between my kidney and my bladder, but it crippled me. Like I couldn't move for hours. I thought it was my appendix. So I'm taking I'm only taking codeine, obviously, when I've got pain. So if I took one today, I haven't taken one for days. I took one today because I've been in pain. So if I'd have gone into prison in the morning, guys, because codeine comes up as cocaine, if you've got any form of drug
it comes
in your
up
system,
as heroin.
Yeah. Oh, was it heroin?
Yeah,
I know.
because it's
I'm
an
sorry.
opiate.
What's the one that comes up as cocaine? There's something. I
It
think it might have been
it could.
ibuprofen or something. There was something that come
Does
up with
it?
train. But
I've come up with
anyway,
diazepam in my system
so
before, and I haven't taken it in months.
yeah.
Weird.
So even if I'd taken codeine, I would have gone on what's called the drug addict wing. And no, I'm an ex-user myself. I'm a recovering addict
Same,
myself,
yeah.
so I'm not out to take the mick out of anyone. But if you imagine, it's the only way, literally way we used to describe it is heroin addicts and crack addicts, and them literally multiplying like it, and you've got about 200 of these women on the wing, and then they're just the meds, because obviously I used to do
The
I said
noise of
obviously,
it all.
yeah, because I used to do inductions and recovery. I was a recovery mentor in Bronzefield. So you go on and it's just like, oh mate, like you literally need headphones to
Mm.
cover the noise. It's like a different world, isn't it, when you go on there?
It's well, you know, like Broadmoor's for the criminally insane. As a joke, I wasn't taking the Mickey because I'm been a drug
Yeah.
addict myself, but I'd call it Bronzemoor because it
Yeah.
was like it's something that you should see in
That's
Broadmoor.
it. Pro
It was
plus,
the noise, the
co-edible.
banging, and the banging, the banging,
Yeah.
the constant screaming, people stealing. Me and my mate went over there for something to see a nurse or something, and straight this girl from out of nowhere, she'd come from like across from another wing because we were out in the landing. She's come over, she goes, "Oh, that's a nice ring," to my friend. And she goes, "Oh yeah, it's platinum." And I thought, and I was like, "What are you telling her that? Are you listening?" Because this lady, I'm not gonna mention her name. She was an older woman, but she had a problem with drink. She's been abused herself. And so she was a bit vulnerable and naive and didn't and then after I said, "You need to take that off." She goes, "Yeah, but they're on the ones." I said, "Don't matter, word gets around, mate, take it off. You're gonna have to
Yeah.
hide it."
Yeah. Even when I went into prison, I had like a necklace and stuff, and I just took it off because it's not because I was scared of anyone, but why attract a fight? Why attract anything
Exactly.
like? And obviously, I didn't know at this point what I was. This light in the background was really doing my nut in. So I literally you don't know, when I didn't know what to expect. So I was like, I'm just going to put it straight in my store prop. Why go into something valuable with something valuable on, not knowing what the outcome could be? Do you know what I mean? So it's just attracting like a fight and stuff. But have you ever been down healthcare? Have you ever been to where so you know, like
No.
they've got a seg? Well, healthcare
I've
they've
been
got,
to SEG and I've been
yeah.
to where you go to the doctor and that, but I've never been on healthcare.
Yeah, so opposite that, that's what you would want to call, what was you calling it? Something more? What was you?
Bronzemoor,
Yeah, that's
like
Bronzemoor.
Bronzefield and
Like
Broadmoor mixed together.
you literally have to stand back as you walk up, because I was a listener as well, so we got called out there. But when I first ever went there with my pal, she was like, you need to walk with your back facing them but back against the opposite wall if their things were open, because they'd throw shit out. They would like try and grab you through the thing. They were like proper cuckoo down there. Proper.
Yeah, I've seen people go mad in there as well. I'm sure you have, and it's really sad. And
Really
they just
sad.
leave them. They don't help them. They just they're like, "Oh, we got no room in healthcare." I saw this girl. She was left in there for like 4 weeks. She was completely butt naked. She had stuff smeared all over her, all over the floor. Like piss was coming out from under the doors. Like had stuff all
Do you
over her.
know
Like,
what
and
though?
they left her like that. And
Do you
she'd
know?
scream all night. She'd completely lost her
Yeah, there
mind.
was so much mental health and self-harmers in
Sad.
prison. It opened my eyes up to a whole new world that I didn't even know existed. And I did say to an officer one day, I was like, I actually feel sorry for you guys, because you guys are prison officers. You're not therapists. And I was like, why are they putting them in? They was just like frown. They was like, when the hospital's beds are full, because they're a risk to the outside world, they put them in prison. And they're not trained for that. They're not trained for that. So what do you do if you see one thing, but how do you know that officer hasn't been attacked 4 times trying to go in that room? How do you know she wasn't
That's
throwing
true.
piss and shit? It's like, for
I
me,
never thought of that.
yeah, when I do talk about stuff or anything, like I always try and be like and think about it from another perspective, because I
Yeah.
can hate an officer, but why do I hate it? What? Because they're telling me what to do because I put myself in prison. Do you know what I mean? You got to
I
look
was
at
all
it.
right with the prison
Yeah,
officers. It was just the police that I had a problem with.
yeah. I was in prison with a woman that gave birth to a kid in her cell, but that's another that's another story. But there's legal reasons that they can't go into the cell, because if something happens to that baby, and then that woman blames the officers. Then I was there. It was like 12 o'clock at night. I got woke up out of my sleep. This girl was screaming and screaming.
Oh
Like, help me,
God.
help me. Obviously, we knew she was pregnant. Was on 2B there, and I'd only been in prison about five,
I was
6
on
weeks.
2B.
And so we're all like, what the hell? And then the girls the other side that had their flaps open, not them kind of flaps, they literally they could see down, and they said the next day that 2 officers were stood outside her door doing nothing. They were just throwing her in towels. Now, and then the next thing you know, like 20 minutes later, you just heard this baby scream. And mate, it was the most mental thing ever. Like, it was just like you heard this
That's so
baby
weird you
crying.
should say that. I'll tell you some stuff in a bit about
Yeah,
that.
and
if we've got
then
time.
literally the next and then the ambulance have turned up at this point, that they've got it, because obviously it takes them about 10 minutes to get through all the gates, but they landed up there about 5 minutes after the baby was born. And then when you speak to the officer, they're like, we there were only men on there, so 1, they're not allowed to go in, 2, they're not trained to give birth to babies, 3, if she'd accused them of something, there's no cameras in the cells. So it's like, all right, it was disgusting, but where do you go? Where is the line drawn? But that you've got to kind of like be thingy. But the disgusting bit was the next day they took the baby from her because she had no one outside to take the baby. So the people, social services, took the baby. They sent her back to prison the next day. And then they put her in her cell, and everyone's going mad. Like, you need to get, not Bix, what do they call it? The one that clean, the cleaning guys that are trained to chemically clean
Did they
stuff.
not clean that cell?
No, and they turned around and went, "It's your blood, you clean it." Yeah, imagine, the girl's already gone through trauma, so there's things like that. Is vile, man. They don't even deserve their job.
There were some things in there that I saw.
Yeah, so the thing is you all see, so you can see one side of the story, but you don't know, like I say with that woman, how you don't know if an officer's been attacked, man. If someone's thrown piss and stuff over me, I'm not going back in that cell second time to get that done. Like, you can live in it. Like, unfortunately,
and they don't get paid a lot.
Yeah.
And we were locked up sometimes 23 hours a day because they just didn't have enough staff.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, some of them are arseholes, some of them like literally can rot, like, for all I care, but other ones, you got some decent, genuine people there. And
there was a few that really went out of their way to help me when I needed help.
Yeah, but so. Oh, well, I've lost track now. This is a problem. We go in, we both go into one and start going on about other stories. So I want to get into. So let's go on to the questions about trans. So there are a lot of trans in there. I had a very good friend. She even had the sex change in prison. All for her, man. Love her to bits. I'm happy that she had everything done. But then there's other ones that there's so you must have met Jess. You must have known the rapist that lived on house block 4 was a man.
But there was another one on there that must have. I don't know if you know Kat.
Why do I know that name?
Black guy, male, was male, had male genitalia. He was in there for murder. He'd been in prison 15 years, but he confessed to me and my friends that he wasn't trans and that he was only doing it to be in the women's prison.
Yeah, they were all sleeping with women.
He got. So when I got released the first time, in the 9 days that I was gone, when I got back, everyone was like, "You never guess what? You never guess what?" And I was like, "What? They're like, Cat got 2 girls drunk on hooch and took advantage of them, and he got shipped out. But why would they have he would go in, he told me he'd take the hormone patches off as soon as he got him, he'd put him in the bin.
Yeah, they'd not take their meds so they could be erect. Yeah.
And I've got a very, very close family member who's trans, so I'm not against trans people. Please never ever think that.
That's what I'm saying.
And I know you're not. You spoke about it before.
Yeah.
But I don't want people to get the wrong idea.
I'm sorry, but the people that are fake and disgusted and sleep with the women and how can a rapist, a man that rape women, be allowed to pretend to want to be a woman and go to a women's prison, man? I'm not going to get started on that.
They need a whole other prison or a whole wing dedicated.
Well, they do in Downview. They've created that.
Oh,
now.
do they?
Yeah,
because that's where he got sent. Cat got sent to Downview, but he should have been there in the first place. Then,
100%. So, did you ever come across well, someone I know you come across someone called TJ. So I've had Roxy, bless her, she's been on my channel. I don't know if you've seen
Oh,
this story.
I did, and it's
Yeah,
absolutely horrendous. And
awful story.
I nearly cried when I heard it. Makes me really upset. It must be. I hate him so much. Oh,
So tell me a bit
that's so
about yours.
sad.
And
It's so
so
sad.
did you have any fights in prison? You tell us a story about. So guys, it just quickly give you a brief. So TJ is one of the very first people that I met when I went to prison. He's another prisoner. Sorry. Yeah, no, hang on. I'm getting well confused. Right, he is
Born female.
born a female, but I will still call him a he because I respect anyone's
Yeah,
thing.
I
I'm not
call
going
him
to
a
be
he because I know him
disrespectful for
as
that.
I know him
So
as TJ. Yeah.
he's one of the first people I met with. Thought he was all right at first, got on all right with him, and then obviously when I come out, I met Roxy in a second prison, and then basically TJ was. If you check out my story with Roxy anyway, her story, should I say, and she was basically abused by TJ, and you've had run-ins with TJ, right? So
Yeah.
tell us a bit what happened. Was this the second time you was in prison?
Yeah, the second time is when the second time I was in prison, I was on B wing and he was on B wing. And when I first met him, like what you said, he'd come over, he was really nice. He was like, oh, I couldn't sort my TV out. And he was like, oh, come and do it. And he sat down, he's been really nice. Like he had laughing a joke, I'd laugh and a joke with him, had no idea what he was like and what he'd done. And then a few days in, I'd noticed that he was a pain in the arse. He used to like push in at the servery, he'd go and take extra stuff. He really and I don't know why the prison officers just let him get away with this behaviour. It was really weird. Because he was trans, he'd get let out early for a shower, which is fine. I understand that. But what he'd do is he'd come out and he would just stand. You'd see he would stand there for ages, looking at the cells. So you can see the showers or he'd get in and he'd just get ready and he'd just stand there for ages because he knew we couldn't get let out until he was finished.
Yeah, power.
So he's like really trying to wind everyone up, rub everyone the wrong way. He was rude. He would pick on people. He had to have his food a certain way. It had to be wrapped with his name tag on it for him. And if anyone went near his food, all hell would break loose. He was just obnoxious. I think he has an antisocial personality disorder. To be honest, I don't know. That's from what I saw of him. That's what he seems like. He does not seem like a nice person. Now, I didn't know anything of what he'd done to Roxy. No one in there at this point had mentioned anything about this. But there was a girl in there. So I don't know if you remember the case Verdi Coody. She left her baby in Brighton in a flat for 6 days while she went out partying. And when they found the baby, it had maggots in its nappy. Right. So she was running around. She was a red coat as well, like a listener. She was going around like laughing. She wasn't actually from B wing, but she would come on there to flirt with TJ. So her and TJ had a little thing going on. She'd come in. She's meant to be being a listener, but she'd just go in his cell for ages. And then when she did come out, they were all chasing each other, flirting, running around, playing. Like she was laughing. Like her baby died because she left it there, and she's running around laughing. And she's only got 8 years. Drug dealers get more than 8 years.
I
8 years. Yeah, did you get more than 8 years? Yeah, of course.
I got originally 11, but then I got my third off and obviously served half, but still.
Yeah, so when she gets her third off, it's going to be what, like 5 years?
Yeah, exactly.
So she's running around laughing, and me and a couple of the other girls, we've got kids and we can't see them, and it annoyed us. We were like she's not in there, but she's not being remorseful. She's just like literally, and it just really annoyed us. So we were like thinking about going, like giving her a whack sort of thing. And TJ found out about this, and TJ was seeing her. So TJ's right. So on the bottom floor of the wing, there's a laundry room. So TJ and this other guy told me, he goes, come in here, I want to talk to you. So I've gone in and he's like telling me about, you don't know what happened in that situation. I said, well, people have Googled it on the phone to me, so I do know. And he's like, yeah, but you don't know that what the news and the media say, I've been accused of beating a woman up and raping them. Or, no, I've just said that word. I've been accused of doing this, that, and the other, but I haven't done it. And something in my head thought, yeah, you have. Yeah, you have. And that's what I thought. And then he starts going, Verdi's well protected. I'll let you off this time. And I thought, right. Right, and TJ's quite big. Like, I'm only 5'1", and you wouldn't know that TJ wasn't a man. By this point, he'd been in the gym, and I think he'd been.
Sorry, I apologise.
No, go on. Sorry, what was you saying?
No, I was laughing. I said I would have pissed in his face. I'd have howled. I would have.
So I was fuming, but I had these when I went in, because hadn't been in there long. I had these ridiculous long nails, right? And where I got in the fight with the police, some of them were broken off, but I still had quite a few of them on. And I thought, if I get in a fight with him, these are going to rip my real nails off. So I've gone up the stairs, and I'm like, right, has anyone got any nail clippers? You know, at the top where the chairs are at the landing.
Yeah, everyone sits at the top. Yeah.
Yeah. So for everyone who doesn't know, right, so you got the wing, you know, you got the stairs, and then in men's you have a net. Well, in Bronzefield we didn't have a net; it was only one level above the floor. And at the top of the landing, there's like blue chairs, and everyone gathers there and smokes their vapes and drinks their coffee. It's like, it's like the area.
All like that, like under the top.
Yeah. So I've gone up there, and I'm like, almost everyone is sitting there. I mean, there's others but anyone in our little clique.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who's got some nail clips? And someone brought them to me. And I'm like this over the bin, because there's a bin right near the chairs. And I'm like this. And they're like, what's the matter? I was like, just you wait, right? Cutting them all off. And I knew that I was going to get hurt in a fight with him. He'd been in the gym a lot. He was a lot bigger than me. But I was like, I'm not having that. Someone else was a witness to him doing it as well. And I thought, I can't have it. I can't. And it triggered something in me, especially because of the abuse I've had from men. And to me, he was a man. He looked like a man. He acted like a man. He was a man. In my head, he just threatened me. Huh?
No, I'm saying he wants to be a man. He's a man. If that's how he wants to be identified as,
yeah. I would never know that he ever was a female in the past. Anyway, so he's started coming up these stairs, and I'll never forget the look on his face, right? He could not believe that I stood up to him. He looked like a deer in the headlights, not because he was frightened of me, because he just could not believe, because I was quite nice. I was nice to people. Like, I'd help people out. I didn't really get in that much trouble. There was a few things I'd done, but anyway, so he's coming up these stairs, and I don't know what he had in his hands, and I was like, right. And his cell was like here. There was a cell in between, and then it was my cell, and I was on the big double cell at the end, right in front of the chairs.
Yeah, I
said, come on then, get in my cell now then. I was like, you come on, you want to fight, get in my cell now. Now, I didn't know he was still waiting to go to court for his charges. Yeah. I didn't realise, like, this is why he didn't come and fight me, because he wasn't scared of me.
Oh, can I just stop you now?
Yeah.
TJ doesn't fight. TJ, listen, because you were quiet and calm, that's why he thought he could step to you, because I was there. I was going on a visit with TJ to the visits hall, yeah, and this girl started screaming, you're a rapist, blah, 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 and all this stuff. And it wasn't, as you come through from the visit, so like, we're waiting to go on, they've come off, we're in the holding room and they've gone past, they're screaming, and it wasn't until this skinny little bird was locked behind the door after abusing TJ that went bang, bang, come on then.
Yeah.
Didn't say anything until the door was locked between them. And like, so trust me, it was TJ, that was their excuse, because in prison, it doesn't matter what you're up against, you stand your fucking ground and don't nobody humiliate you. Don't nobody, if someone steps to you, wants to fight, that's just, trust me, that is a pure excuse, because like I said, this little diddy bird was calling him a rapist and everything. Someone called me a rapist and I wasn't a rapist. I don't care what charge I was on. I don't care. I'd get an extra sentence because you wouldn't humiliate me in front of 20, 30 of women calling me a rapist. It would not happen.
Yeah, no, I agree. Well, I just assumed it was because of the court case, that he didn't want to fight. But he kind of froze. And then, because I thought he was going to actually do it. So I built myself up to think I'm going to fight. So my adrenaline's like, so I've lunged to go towards him at the top of the stairs, and all the cameras obviously would have seen, and the girls just come and they were dragging me back, and he was going, and he ran off. He ran into his cell.
I told you.
The door.
Yeah.
And then I heard, and I said to one of the screws, when they locked that, because they banged us all up, obviously. And I said, he ain't running this wing anymore. Like, he's not doing. I'm not having it. Like, I can't cope with it. It's not gonna end well. So they had to remove him off of the wing. But before they removed him, when we all had to get, because it was such a bad, like, such a crazy. It wasn't crazy, but they locked everyone in and they wouldn't even let us out to go and get our food. We had to go in like little groups to get our food and come back to our cells, and they were locking us up again. And I could hear him, and I don't think he thought anyone could hear, but me and my cellmate had our ear to the door, and he was going. They went to unlock him and he goes, "What? She's not out there, is she? She's like a wild animal. She's not out there, is she?" And they're like, "No, she's locked up." And he's like, "Well, good, don't let her out then." And he's walked off and gone and got his food. And then as he's after everyone's eaten, they moved him, and as he's bringing his mattress and that and walking out the gate, everyone's like, "Yay!" like banging on the doors because no one liked him. He was horrible.
Yeah. Oh no, he was. But it's so funny how your story is of him to how mine is, because no one liked him. Everyone said he was a snitch. He never tried. He would go in for new people because he would obviously want to make friends. Do you know what? It's hard because I don't even want to like be too much of a bad mouthing about someone, because they're like, obviously they're not even here to defend themselves. But I'm telling you facts of what I saw.
Yeah.
And literally he would go in for the newbies and he'd try and befriend them because no one else really liked him. But people would be civil with him to an extent, because if people are doing things and he's a little snitch, people, sometimes it's like keep your friends closer, enemies closer, and all that scenario. But he never come across like he could run any wing, in prison. So it wasn't for me.
He was doing a good job of it though. He was pushing in. He was doing what he liked. This woman just pointed and said, "Oh, you're lucky." He'd get fried chips, and everyone else would get oven chips. Like, why were they letting him get all this extra stuff? This what didn't make sense. And this girl literally went, "Oh my god, you got fried chips," and he goes, "Don't touch my chips." She was nowhere near him, and he went, "I'm really particular about my food." Like, it's just, I don't know. He's not right.
Oh, but yeah, because it's weird, because when I was in, sorry, there was always a stronger character on the landing. Someone was like really like loud, like I was quite loud and thingy, but I was like more of a joker, loud and stuff. But I also didn't. No one tried to give me shit, and not because I think I'm big and bad, but I just gave that aura off. You give that aura off that no one can't do that, then no one doesn't try and do it. But it wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I was top dog of the wing, or X, Y, and Z was top dog. It wasn't like that. You just had a stronger character that might be a bit louder or a bit more playful or something like that. So it's quite interesting that your story, your events are sort of different to mine.
Yeah, well, I certainly wasn't big and bad, but I just wasn't going to let someone.
No, of course not.
And you know what, though? After that, everyone saw me stick up for myself. I never had a problem again after that.
Yeah, you won't.
It would be funny to see what would have happened if I had have let that go. Would it have gone different? I don't know. Oh,
yeah, actually, you would have been.
Pepsi, I forgot about that.
I'm an addict for it, honestly.
I love it.
Yeah, if it was alcoholic, oh my god, alcoholic. If it was alcohol in it, I'd be done.
I'm dribbling because my lips.
Yeah, that's true, Lisa. It really is true. Yeah, literally. So how was the rest of your sentence like? Did you find tough times? So did prison change you? Like, did it help you? I mean, did it, it did for me. It's the best thing that happened to me, but mine's a different story. So
yeah, it was
I'm
for me.
just saying, like, it's not that, no, Pepsi Max, not Coke Zero. It's not the same for everybody. It's plus also you did a short sentence really in.
It was short
compared to mine. I mean, when you're doing,
mine was like a drop in the ocean.
Yeah, but you do 5 weeks, it can feel like 5 months, because that's what the girls you say. Oh, I feel bad because I'm doing a small sentence, but it's actually really, your sentence is your own. So no matter how short or long, it's long, if that makes sense. So did you find there was enough help for you in there? Because for me, I'm doing a long sentence. I can do these long courses.
With that, I was under constant threat that I was going to lose my home, which was constant stress. And then, to tell you what though, prison saved me because one, they changed my mental health medication. I was already diagnosed with complex PTSD, OCD, and bipolar. And then when I was in prison, I found out that I had ADHD. I was literally about to get I was waiting for my last appointment to get them to 100% say, "Yep, you've got it," even though I know I have it, and give me the medication. And then I got released, and I thought I could just go get the help out here, and it's been over a year, and I'm still waiting to get the assessment. So I'm unmedicated for my ADHD, but they did change my mental health medication in there, and that really helped.
That's really
Also,
powerful because you don't hear of stuff like that. That's amazing. That's what I
mm,
mean. Prisons, it's not all
they did
bad.
help there. Yeah. And so also, when I went in, my glass was half empty. I felt like I had nothing to live for. I was grieving. Although my kids, thank God, are safe and well, it felt like they had died. That's how it felt to me, because they'd been taken from me. And it's the most intense pain I've ever felt in my life. And the only thing that I can think of that is worse than that is obviously them not being alive and well. Thank God they are. But that's how I felt. So I'm thinking and feeling like I've got nothing in the world to live for. But then when I went in there, and then I've seen girls and they've had their kids adopted and I've never seen them again. They've gone. Or they might maybe reach out to them when they're older, but it's not like I can still see I could still have visits with my kids. Do you know what I mean? So they'd lost that. They had no family at all. They had no home to go out to. They was going to end up in that Elizabeth Fry. And some of them didn't even have their own teeth, bless them. And then I literally thought to myself, what am I doing? I have got things I can change, things can turn around. And it made me wake up and realize how much I actually had. I needed to go to prison and have and see what other people were going through, to realize that, get a grip. You're not the only one in the world that's gone through things. You can't,
Yeah.
and I do believe if I hadn't gone to prison, I would not be here today. I don't think or I would have ended up in there for life.
Yeah.
It would have been one or the other. I wouldn't be getting out, or I wouldn't be here.
Yeah, no,
So
I
it's good that it
100% believe
happened.
it happens. I believe it. I believe it. Everything happens for a reason. And yeah, prison was the best thing that ever happened to me. And I'm really glad that you had a positive outcome from it. You sound like you've had a really, really tough time. But at least it ended up as good as can be. It could have turned up a lot worse. You could have
Yeah.
landed up on you could have landed up on spice to block it out. So I saw girls that had never touched drugs in their life, land up on spice and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
I
And it's
saw,
like
and I was only
it
in there
could have
5
gone
months, and
down
I
that
saw.
path. It's bad, isn't it? It's really
Yeah,
bad in
it's
prison.
sad. Like, it was really sad, and it's, excuse me, a blooming Pepsi Max making me burp. I saw girls in there on it, and one of them was freaking out once, and they just sometimes they don't know what's going on. It's just like, because they make it out. So in there, the way that they do it, for people who don't know, you probably explained this before. A lot of the time in solicitors' letters, it has like Rule 39 written on it, the the police officers,
Prison officers aren't allowed to
prison
open them.
officers
Yeah.
can't open the letters. So that they make these fake solicitors' letters, and they put sheets sprayed with spice in the letters.
Yeah.
And then they'll get the vape, and they're like, I don't know how they do it, but they like break the vape apart and they turn it into a pipe. So when you press the vape down, it lights up. So then they put the paper on that, and then they breathe it in. Just
I
for
know.
people who don't know, that's how they smoke it in there.
Yeah, because they
And it's a
used
lot. And I'm not. I tell you who was smoking it all the time was that cat, the one that ended up getting them girls drunk on hooch and taking advantage of them.
Oh, that hooch! They never ever would have never tried it ever. But that stuff, I remember this northern girl next door to me, Jade. She was brilliant character, and she says, "I've showered Fran," and I've come out, and I was like, "Oh no, it absolutely smelled like puke." But the bottle had exploded all over our room. It was all over the floor, and it looked like puke, where it was all like clumps of obviously going into
Oh,
the
what was it?
mold.
Hooch?
Yeah, they was making
She
their own
hadn't.
cider. Yeah, and the bottle exploded, but it went all. And I was like, "Oh my god!" And it literally smells like puke. It's rotten.
People can die from it.
I know. That's why I said I would never do it. It can turn you blind and all sorts. I was never that desperate for a drink. I was quite glad of
Nah.
detoxing.
and it must taste disgusting. I never touched it, thank God, because I probably
Me
wouldn't have got
too,
out on
Lisa.
tag. Let's put it that way. If I'd had a drink in there, I wouldn't have got out on tag. I know that for definite. I would have got in some sort of
It's
trouble.
just not worth it.
I'm a horrible drunk.
Are you?
I am a horrible drunk, and I didn't used to be until like all these traumatic things happened, and I can't
2020,
touch
yeah.
it.
Yeah, no, someone said 2020. I was like, yeah, that is definitely my era. I remember sitting in the fields when you was at school, necking back 20. Ugh, it's a nasty drink as well, but it was
What, the
cheap.
cider?
2020. Do you remember
No.
2020? So it was like it was just what it's called, just in a bottle. But you get like strawberry. It was not a nice
What, a
drink.
bit like a WKD sort of thing?
Well, yeah, but it was a lot worse than that. It was like, but it was in like a bigger kind of bottle. It was just when you come off, Google 2020 drink,
Yeah, I
and
will.
have
Yeah,
a
I
look.
don't
You'll
know.
have to, mad dog.
Because I remember when we were kids getting cider. Oh,
Yeah. Do you remember Pink Lady? Anyway, we're going off course. My battery's gonna die soon. So look, so you've done a little time in prison. It changed you for the better, which is great to hear. And how long have you been out now? 22, did you say?
over a year. Just
And
so not this August, the August before.
yeah, so you're all good now. Like, well,
and
it's
I'm
better than
sober. I've
before.
got a job, helping people with substance misuse, and I'm going to go on from that and help people who've have been or are going through domestic violence. I've got my dog, my Rottweiler. I've been training her for the last year. I've got my YouTube channel. We might have a exciting opportunity coming up in the future.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Yeah, hopefully. Yeah,
But we can't
really
talk
good.
about that now. But yeah,
No,
maybe
we will. We'll have to do a double live and share the news of it. I don't even think you'll be able to until afterwards. To be fair, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll be able to talk
Something.
about it, but something exciting might be happening.
Yeah, there's a lot of positive now. This is really great as well. I'm glad I've met you, and I'm really grateful for you coming on my channel, guys. She will be back on again, and please show a little love if you're watching this. Give her a subscribe and help her boost her little channel and going forward. And I'm going to be jumping on some lives on her channel as well. We'll all support each other.
Yeah, if you like listening to someone waffle on, definitely come and check my channel out. No, what I've done, mine's not just about prison. I've got true crime on there as well. So I've done a mini documentary about a woman called Gemma Mitchell, who I was actually in prison with, and we used to call her the suitcase killer. She decapitated someone and dumped their remains. And she used to come in my cell and have coffee with me.
The crap you hear, man.
It's just mental.
It makes you laugh. It's crazy.
And it wasn't until I got out that it all broke out in the news. And I was like, oh my God, I was helping her. People were picking on her, and I was giving her mum mushy pizza stuff, because I don't like bullying.
Yeah.
Come out, and she's done this hint, because I knew she was in there for med, but she'd told me categorically the police had set her up, and so I wasn't sure. And then it come out, and I was like, oh my God. So yeah, I've done a little mini documentary on that. And then at the end of the whole story and all the details and the video clips that I've got, at the end of that, I'm explaining what it was like knowing her and how she was as a person. So I hope you don't mind me saying my YouTube channel, but it's
no, please do. Make sure before you say it, make sure you tag your link in a comment. Just jump a comment.
Do I do it before I leave?
No, if you can come off and you can still comment.
I'll get my daughter to do it.
Yeah, go on. Let everyone know your channel.
Yeah, it's the True Crime Whisperer, and it's got a picture of like an AI version of me with like blue sort of hair. So it's the True Crime Whisperer.
Thank you, Rachel. Yeah, thank you, guys. Yeah, please go over and give her support. The way she's doing the true crime is good.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to my story, and I'm excited to work with you in the future, Fran, and hopefully we can do some things. It would be great if one day we could go and do talks around some schools and stuff. Or
100%. Yeah, we got.
Do you know what I think they need to do in school? Sorry, I can't help but keep.
Patricia's already subbed.
Oh, thank you. Oh, that's really kind. I really appreciate that. I think in schools they should teach about red flags for domestic abuse.
100%, especially with the stuff that they go on and the blackmailing of send me a picture and then it's do this and do that, otherwise I'm gonna thingy, and then the ripple effect of where it lands you on drugs, you know, and drink and all that stuff, then it lands you in prison. And people just think that prisoners are scum, but they don't know the background story. They have
Some
no
people in
idea.
there are evil, and some people have
Like,
had evil done to them.
thank you, Samantha. You got another sub. Listen, my
Oh, thank you.
subscribers, they're amazing. There's so much love. I get nothing but
Oh,
love from them all. Like, I'm
oh,
really
thank you
grateful
so
for you
much,
guys. I
guys. I
really
really
am.
appreciate that.
Honestly. Someone said,
And I'm
Samantha,
so
phone you
glad.
mum.
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to tell my story. And I'm really glad that I met you. I'm really looking forward to doing things in the
No,
future. It'll be great.
likewise. We can, you know, if you're free, we can always, if the guys want to see us just want to do questions on lives, then we can jump on like every other week sort of thing. Like, I'm happy because, you know, I think sometimes it's good just to do not 100. I started writing a book in prison, so yeah, I want to. I've already got the name of it and everything. I need to just get on it. It's just life.
It's
It's tough.
hard though, isn't it? It's hard. I'm dyslexic. If I could write, maybe I should do a voice book. I'm good at talking.
Yeah, yeah, no, I didn't notice.
I
No,
could talk to my.
it's
I talk to my. I'm a bit. My man. Am I the only one that does this? Right, that talks to themselves.
oh, and I talk to myself
Okay, good.
all the time,
And I
literally.
overshare like that. For example, a lot of people wouldn't be like, "Oh, am I the only one that?" I
No,
walk around the
but
house and I'll be like, "Oh," like, and I'll just like talk about something to myself, and I'm like, Why am I talking to myself?"
no, no, I do it all the time. Literally, I'll tell myself off and everything. But hey, I'm the only one who understands me, so you know, I've have a conversation with someone who gets me. This front that everyone sees of like perfect, well, not perfect Fran, but you know, like I've got my shit together. Yeah, not
Oh, two
always.
of my friends, one called Amy and one called Lucy, they're watching right now, and they said that they absolutely love your channel. And when,
Oh,
because
thank you.
I said to them, "Oh, I'm going to go on Fran, you know, the ex UK prisoner,"
Yeah.
and my friend was like, "Oh my god, I watch her," and I was like, "Yeah," and she was like really excited. So yeah,
So who is it? Thank you,
they wanted
Rachel.
me to say that they really
Thank
enjoy
you.
your
I wonder
channel.
what that was about. I was just meant to send a thank you, guys. Thank you for watching and subbing. No, I do really appreciate it. And I get so many comments, but obviously where life's been a bit mad the last 2 months, I don't reply. I feel bad. I see something and I go to reply and I think, oh no, because I know I had like 20 last week and then I feel guilty for not replying to everybody. So, you know, if you're one of them ones that comment, like, yeah, I'm grateful always. I think I say it every time, but that's it. Yeah, that's what you think I'm on a level. No, I'm joking. I'm all right. I'm not too bad. Has anyone got any questions before we go? My battery is going to die, but is there anything that you guys want to ask? Do you want to see us do some more work together? Life happens. Yeah. Just give it a second, see if anyone pops up. And no, but it's been great to get to know you anyway. And we'll talk more off camera.
Yeah, I've got
My
to make a video in a
battery's
minute. Better
Yeah,
ring my mum first.
you'll come off now hyped. You'll come off now hyped, and you'll get that buzz, and it gives you that little thing. And I think the way you're going with your channel as well is really good because it's yeah, I know I will. It's different, you know. Like you've got to have your own twist on things. So I'm doing my thing, and if you come out and you was doing exactly the same thing, it's like
Yeah,
you're doing other things as well, like that whole true crime. I think that's brilliant and that really gets viewers in, especially because you've lived it and you know it, but it's not something that really interests me to do that kind of stuff, you
yeah,
know. So you should do stuff on your own and just talking about other things or anything you've experienced, because you know, like little things like I do, like, you know, make videos of like, oh, don't forget, if you need this, take these details. But also with that true crime thing, I've noticed, because I watch a lot of it on TikTok, and I think that's a really good way to go down the channel as well.
yeah. I'm doing a series called Banged Up in Bronzefield, where I'm doing all the notorious women that have been in Bronzefield.
Yeah.
And the first one was Gemma Mitchell, and the second one's going to be Joanna Dennehy. Did you ever meet her when you was
I
in
was
there?
friends with her, yeah.
Was
Like,
you?
when I say friends, I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, we were best pals and all that kind of stuff. But I used to go and
But you
see and
got
speak to her
on.
on a daily, yeah, because people used to say we had the same eyes. I won't bore all the watchers again with the same story, but people said we had the same eyes. Cut a long story short, I said to her one day, she was like, started calling me Twinny, and we just spoke from then. So, you
Oh,
know, I've been in prison with her. See, this is where guys, if you want to jump off now, it's probably a little bit boring. What we'll do is my we'll liaise tomorrow. I'll give you a shout.
Yes.
I'll give you a shout in the evening when I get back from the hospital. I can do some videos with you, and the people is unbelievable. Like my neighbour was the woman in the fire, the amount of paedophiles and all that. I can do some stories for you that I can give you some tips and information. So if you want to work on them, the only one I won't speak about really is Joe. Like,
because you were friendly.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird because if she wanted her story out there, she could have sold her book and made millions. So I'm kind of a little bit respectful on that. I mean, I don't mind saying a little bit of the basics, obviously, of how we met, but I won't go because I've done something where I have spoke, but just minimal, like just minimal.
Yeah, I never met her myself. I did know someone that did meet her in there and was friends with her. Her name was Kaylee Mitchell.
I know that name.
Kaylee.
So, yeah, I know that name. But yeah, so yeah, they're really good things, because especially with stuff like that, because she had fan mail, she had fans, like, you know, all that sort of stuff. And Lucy Letby, I had a friend that was in for a year at the same time as her on the same wing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so there's good information. But yeah, we'll do that another time.
Yeah,
I think
brilliant.
we're swaying off course.
You.
But yeah, again, thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for all tuning in, and I will speak to you soon. Take care.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.